Paul, what can we do for you today? You want to review some movies from the 80s? What do you want to do?
No, first of all, I think G-Baby is great. I love him, and I have no problem with him. My problem is that I had emailed you about wanting to get an agent for the book I'm writing on.
Yes. Now, to get back to G-Baby, don't think of him as replacing you, Paulo. He's just better than you. You're still here anytime you want to be, but he actually talks about movies.
Well, let me address that. I have no problem. I used to, as you know, and I still do, go to every movie. Okay, I go every movie and I see every movie, but more and more I am trying to encompass the history of film and understand. And frankly, it is impossible to see every movie that was ever made. That is just not a possibility.
I believe you can do it.
There's 5 or 10 million movies, Ron. How can you see every movie? If you're lucky, you can see 100,000 movies in your lifetime.
But if you got multiple screens and you're running all the movies at the same time, I mean, the silent films alone should be easy enough.
That's true. Okay, I remember Taxi. That actually was something I thought of. Because Taxi, the show Taxi, with Jim, he had 20 screens in his room. And I get that. I understand that concept, but it's still not possible. It's still not possible. And but I'm getting into the history of the early silence. I'm getting into so yes, keeping up with the current stuff.
Here's what I think you need to do. Yeah. You could be like Armand White, and where instead of trying to see every film and throw off a quick quip the way they do now, just see one film and really dissect it and tell us how it ties in with the world today. That could be your thing. You could be the white Armand White.
Okay, well, for instance, this week I got really into 2 films that I had seen a few times, and that was Get Low and The Evening Sun, which were about 2 old people reviewing their lives and thinking about, death. Because, frankly, that's the most important thing that you have to deal with in life is death. And I think that's a subject that's not dealt with often enough. And I think both of those films were very subtle, sensitive, intelligent films about...
G-Baby already brought up both these points, and I know where you're going, and I think it's good, Polo. It's just been done. Good news for you, though. One of your best friends is here. Let's bring her in, and she wants to say hello to you. But let's get back to your book idea, Polo.
All right.
This is something that you've been working on, you said, for some time.
Yeah, well, as you know, a lot of the things I've done in my life have not worked that out. The whole Ghostbusters thing turned out to be a disaster for me. So I'm just not good with the whole business side of things,
Right, the business side of life.
Right, well, and I mean, I think I'm doing a pretty good job writing this trilogy of books, fictionalized.
But here's what I like. Here's the business that I like. You found an older woman. She had money. You married her. You moved in. You're laying next to the pool. I think that's fantastic.
Listen, she knows full well that she is the best thing in my life, and then she says, "No, get out of here. You're crazy. You're nonsense. You're a great person, blah, blah, blah."
Paulo, she is right. Her bank account is the best thing that ever happened to you.
Stop it.
Hold on. Here's one of your friends. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi, Paulo.
Hi.
You know who that is, Paul?
It's a sort of a Brooklynese almost.
So who is it? You can answer some questions. We'll be like, what's my line? Go ahead, ask another question, Paul.
Okay. Who do you know on the show real well?
Everybody.
Oh, I know this. Now I get Patty, of course.
There it is.
Yes.
It's Patty, of course. That's very good. Patty, I'm sorry you didn't win anything today, but it was great having you in.
All right, that's nice.
Thank you.
So you're writing a book. I got an idea. Why don't you ghostwrite a book about Patty right now?
All right.
Called I Stalk Because I Love.
First of all, this is a fictionalized book. But let's face it, it's going to be based on my life. It's a trilogy of books based on my life.
You don't understand something. Patty was telling me earlier she knows where Opie lives. You said sometimes you go out and you watch him go in and out of his house.
You should write the foreword.
I have no idea.
Yes, you do.
He lives in New York City.
Oh, good
That's
one. Have you been to Aunt's house?
No.
Now, you said you always wanted to go over there for a karaoke party, and you and Craze were not invited.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't even there. I had already left the picnic. I don't know why he would mention me when I wasn't even there.
He said that you and him felt like you weren't invited. And would you like to go to Aunt's house for one of the karaoke parties?
I would love to do karaoke anywhere. I love karaoke.
What you ought to do, bring it back and stay the weekend.
No, that wouldn't be happening.
Why?
Because I can't.
I don't mean sexually. You've done a great job of fighting Ant off for 10 years. I don't want you to give it up now. I don't want you to give it to him.
Fighting him off, huh?
Yeah. Here's the thing, Patty. If you give him the milk, is he going to want to buy the cow?
Well, you can go to the grocery store. You don't need a cow.
All right, that's a hooker. Seriously, that's a prostitute. He doesn't want that. So, Paulo, you're finished your trilogy of books?
No, I have worked on each of the books, but the first book is obviously the one that needs to be finished first, and it's well on its way to being finished.
One for each wife.
It's fictionalized.
Well, it is the story of each wife. You're exactly right about that. He told us that on the air before. This is about his great three loves of his life.
Well, and it's Zoe, it's Zelda, and it's April.
Now, what I want to do is read in the first book where you made her take a subway train to get the abortion and then come back on her own. That chapter is going to kill me.
Okay, now, as far as dealing with the whole point of trying to write books and deal with this is dealing with all of the mistakes you make in life, and then up until the point where you die. And so clearly, it's all about dealing with the life's mistakes. Yeah. So I mean, that's clearly one of the things that you would like to have changed in life.
All right. So you wish that you would have rented a car that day?
No, I wish, my original plan for my life was, I'm going to stay focused, I'm going to be on my own, I'm going to do my own thing and be alone, and then just stay focused on my goals.
Well, you followed one plan, no children.
Yeah, well, the point is that it went out, every step that you take, every turn that you make, it turns into a new kind of disaster. I mean, I've had, I think everybody would agree, more craziness and more stress than the average person. And I mean, the average person has its fair share.
But here's the problem. We're not interested when you start to tell your stories now. Why would we be interested in reading them in a book?
Listen, Ron, I mean, dump on me all you want.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to point out a business mistake.
It's not a business thing. Every story, every book that you read is a person's story. It doesn't matter that it's my story or not. It's just that, unfortunately, it's the story I've got to tell.
No, I agree. But then these books are told by talented writers.
Oh, so now how do you know what the freaking kind of a writer I am? How would you know?
Why don't you just read me the first chapter? I'd love to read.
I don't have it in front of me right now because I didn't know that this was going to turn into an attack, Paul.
No, I swear to God, it's not an attack. What I don't want you to do is get your feelings hurt, Paul. And I want to try to make sure that you're ready. I work in the McGraw Hill building. I see people leave here in tears every day. I'm the guy who got Eddie Trunk's fucking book done for him.
I understand that, everything I've done in my life has been difficult, and everything that anybody tries to do sometimes can be difficult and takes lots of hard work and struggle. I have written, like 100 pages, and I think they're good.
Well, good. Read me one.
Something from Slaughterhouse Five Fetuses.
I will send you chapters at your request. I will send
Hold on. Fezzi, you've made up a list of the book names. I don't want let's get them out there.
All right, To Kill a Mocking-Wife.
All right, because he killed his first wife. That's good.
Right. Confederacy of Dunce. Singular.
Okay.
How to Lose Wives and Influence No One.
Okay.
Yes.
By the way, all these are fucking gold, Paul. Everyone loves a parody book.
And Frankenstein. Although that may already be used.
Oh, yes, right. The point is that these are, I have many projects, and I'm juggling many projects, and I'll throw the Patti autobiography ghostwriting into the mix. But, there's only so much juggling I can do.
Right. Read us some, Paul.
I cannot read you any now.
He doesn't read. That's the saddest part of this.
He writes?
He wants to write, but he cannot read the Paulo story.
The issue is I have the chapters. I can send you a chapter a day if that is what you choose me to do. Gladly, you can read them on the air, and people can feel free to criticize or not.
Send them.
But the issue is that I really have no business sense. Clearly, that's been proven.
Nobody is as more wired into the publishing business than I am. As you know, my name has appeared in many, many books. People either quoting me or bringing something up or telling a story about me. So I would have no problem at all helping you get an agent. But I won't be, Paul, embarrassed. Like what happened when I hooked you up with Louis C.K. and you fold it in front of him. And, Patty, you can understand where I'm coming from there.
Fold.
You know what I mean? I want him to succeed, but he's got to put work into it, like you do with Starbucks.
Exactly.
I agree. And the Starbucks story...
Patty knows Alec Baldwin. We know people, Paul.
Mm-hmm. I know. You know the Baldwins. Great. And I'm looking for that kind of thing. But, here's the thing. It has never worked for me. After 20 years, I'm world famous. But, what has it done for me? It's just brought me hatred and ridicule. Why is that fair? Now, that doesn't seem right somehow. It seems like, I'm the, that wrestling guy of the real world.
The wrestling guy of the real world.
That one, the Ric Flair guy, like who everybody hates. But on the other hand, what does that
Hold on. Brian's got a perfect name for your book. Go ahead, Brian.
How about, I thought it was called The World According to Gap.
And that would be great because it's wordplay, Paulo.
I mean, truthfully, are we there?
Yes.
Oh, truthfully, as I said, you have so much time in life, and the clock is, and I feel like I've wasted a good part of my life.
John, you're on Run and Fez.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Paulo, why don't you go get a real job? Everything you've done has gone to shit.
Hold on, John. If you're telling me that licking a 76-year-old vagina is not real work, I fucking disagree. I highly disagree.
Excuse me. I have tried, I spent 30 plus years with Gail struggling to make her life normal, and it was a failure, complete failure. And then I had the relationship.
Paul, you have written to me time and time again to tell me that what you went through with Gail, I go through with Fez. And
I never said specifically
you see Fez as my Gail, and I'm worried that you're trying to get me to smother him when he's on fucking dope.
Now,
Great, I'm dead man walking.
Listen, the fact of the matter is Fez, and this is something I've told Fez many times, he is one of the biggest successes in the entire world. If you took the entire world and said he's in the top 1% of all the people in the world, he has no reason to be anything but so, just sticking his chest out and being the most happy, proud man in the world. And that's what I always tell him.
You do, Paul.
Gail never
told me that.
Gail never got that.
Gail never got that Fez was successful.
No.
She never understood that.
She never liked you guys, but that's the whole different
She
thing.
liked me very much, Paul. I'll fucking play the song for you. Now, the second wife is the one who, and we just brought this up, she's the one who actually broke your heart by choosing another over you.
No, it was a weird situation from the beginning. Clearly my life's in turmoil. I'm crazy. I'm losing my mind. I want to die. And so here's this person who has been told, or told me repeatedly that she had the Florence Nightingale syndrome, which is to come in and save somebody. And then, but she's really off in a million other places in her world. And so, unfortunately, that turned into a disaster because then she's off to save somebody who's finally released from prison. This is unfortunately.
But your heart broke on that one, Paul. I never saw you that sad.
And thankfully, as much as you want to say, I am the one good thing in my life is who I'm with now. And you know what? If I die tomorrow, I have been given a real.
Here's my problem, Paul.
Yes.
I've known you for decades now,
yes.
And you constantly bring it up, die tomorrow, and you never do. Now, the women around you do. We've seen that happen, right, Patty?
Too healthy.
Yeah.
Sure enough. I want to die many times, but now I have no reason to die except that I'm still suffering the consequences for everything that happened before. I'm suffering enormous consequences.
But
you'd be in jail.
But you're using your wife's credit card, so you're happy.
No, I am not. Please, I am. She knows that I'm constantly trying to buy, stuff and everything else, and she doesn't really want to let me. That's not because. I'm spending every penny I can spend, and I have money, but I'm just trying to stay alive, and I'm trying not to be a burden on anyone, believe me. Absolutely.
Bubba in Texas, you're on Fez.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hello, I've got a book title for you.
Okay.
It's called I Love You, and I Hope You Die Soon.
That's a very good title. I actually like that title.
Paulo, you could do a book called I'm Okay, I Just Smothered You with a Pillow.
I have no idea what the heck that's about. Now, the thing is that I did like the other title, though. I think that's actually a nice kind of a title that makes you think.
Which that one?
Catch Her and She'll Die.
Good one. I like that.
Anyway, the point is that, I feel that I'm a good writer. I would like your help getting me an agent. And, of course, as with everything else that's ever happened.
Paulo, I got to see the boards. I got to read some boards. All right.
Okay, I will send it to you. I will send you the first couple of chapters.
Now, this, I imagine, is what you call a picture book. You've drawn a couple things.
Picture book. I'll tell you, at this point, there are 37 chapters, and they're fairly short, and I'm going to be starting to pad them in and do lots of other things. But, I feel that they're really what they're about is trying to examine every aspect of life.
Hold on, Patty, you went away during that. I noticed. You kind of gazed off. What happened?
No, I was just looking at the TV. They upgraded the Japan crisis with the nuclear from to a 5 out of 7 from a 4.
Yay! Well, we're safe. We are safe. Here's Tiff. Tiff, you're on the Ron and Fez show with Paulo.
Low expectations, the Paulo story.
Oh, that's not bad, Paulo. Low expectations.
Now, was he saying something about Louis C.K.?
Fred Brooklyn has written one in that I kind of like a lot. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a word play, but it's still good. He wrote in waiting to exhale. And that might be my favorite so far, Paul.
Again, I'm not into the spoofing at this point, and I'm trying to fictionalize so I can encompass, all that I've experienced in life without, like when you go on the Oprah show and you're doing an Oprah show, you don't want to say this is a true story because then if you've made anything wrong, like that guy who went on there, he had to do a big mea culpa because he lied in his.
Aren't you thinking ahead a little bit, Paul?
I am.
Isn't that the last thing you should be worried about? And I'll tell you right now, memoirs sell a lot easier than fucking novels, Paul. People aren't interested in novels, and it's very hard for you to get on TV or radio with a novel, but you can get right on with a memoir. These are the things that you're not thinking about.
Look at what happened to that guy. Look at what happened.
Yes, he's successful and writing more and more books.
But he looked like a complete idiot. He had egg all over his face. He had to send books back. The public
better than a pillow.
No, that's not true that he sent books back, Paul. He sold more books after the Oprah fight. You don't know that. That's James Fry, and it's actually done very fucking well for himself. Here's Adam in Connecticut. You're on Run and Fez.
I got a book for Paul.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and don't fight club.
I'm not sure if I even think that all pulls together, but all right, we'll try to use it.
All right. That's fine. I mean, and I appreciate, because you see, that is the truth, is that everybody's out there has their own story to tell. And sorry, I have a story to tell. I'm sorry, I have a story to tell. Forgive me.
No. Here's Dustin in Texas. What should Paulo's book be called?
Can't win, don't try.
Can't win, don't try, Paulo.
That is actually probably really right on the money there. That's how I feel.
But you're a kept man. You should be very happy. Here's Dan in Albany. What's a good title for Paulo's book?
Deal, Paulo. How about Enemas and Kiddie Pools?
Paul?
Heck is that about? I have no idea.
By the way,
I remember. Yeah.
So far, I got Fred Brooklyn as our winner. No offense to you, Fezzy. Your short list was great. I loved them all. But waiting to exhale? Oh, Paul.
Yeah, Enemas and Kiddie Pools. I have to go, 12 years back now to remember what the Enemas and the Kiddie Pools
You
were about.
sat in a fucking pool of shit. No one's going to forget that.
Look.
Nick in Idaho, you're on Run and Fez.
4 and Puss.
Oh, jeez. I don't know about that. Do you think... here's Ted, you're on Run and Fez.
Got a name for the book, Ronnie B?
Yeah.
You can take the A train for abortion.
Paul, this is actually not bad for you. I mean, first of all, if it was up to me, we'd stop right now with Fred Brooklyn. I think we have a winner.
Okay, now the clear issue is that I think everybody agrees, I have had a crazy, difficult life.
All right, here's one from G. See if you like this. This is from G-Vac. He says call it Mopey Dick. Eastside Llama has come out with The Great Haxby. Here's one about shit. Not bad. Bologna Socks has 3 weddings and a funeral and a divorce. These are good.
These are good. They're very good. I agree. But this is a serious book. I mean,
here's Tony in Cleveland. What do you got?
Hey, it's more of a game, but it would be a great book for Paul. Fuck, marry, kill.
Let's go over to Jemaya. You're on Run Fez.
Hey, yeah, it should be called A Day in Your Life by Ronald.
Rob, you're on Run Fez.
now, you should be aware that there will
Rob,
be
go ahead.
Okay.
Rob, we got you?
Oh, yeah, I have Zen in the Art of Murdering Your Wife.
Paul, are any of these working for you?
No. Now, you should be aware that since it's a fictionalized account of, the last 30 years of so often my life, there will be a fictionalized radio host or two involved as well. So that's going to be an interesting side plot of the.
This is where Paul O gets even. Those two assholes were doing another bad show.
In his new book, Murder by Dummies.
Ross, you're on Run Fez.
Yeah, what about Turning the Color Purple?
Not bad, Paul. Larry, you're on Run Fez.
Larry, South Carolina. I'm a fuck-up. Read all about it.
Paul, everyone wants to read your book. This is not going to be another Gap, a raging fucking failure. It's going to be great. Here's Eric in Syracuse.
Hey, how about Silence of the Fans?
Paul?
These are all, I really am impressed. I think everybody's doing a great job thinking. Now, the thing
all right, let's go into some of these. 3 women and a dead baby. These are all being sent into 202 friends.
It works.
Caddy hack.
Oh, did I tell you I went to St. Augustine and hung out with the other?
Here's a sad one called G Baby's Book is Better.
Oh, good. He's written one. Okay.
I have one.
What do you have, Patty?
They shoot writers, don't they?
Oh.
That's where you went.
Wow. That was cruel, Patty.
I'm sorry. I was only kidding.
Oh, you're just kidding. Because I really
Yeah.
want to use it.
I love everybody.
I know you do.
Patty.
It was a good title, though.
Yeah, it was a very good title. Anthony, you're on with Polo.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
I think Polo should write it as a children's book called Mama, Polo, and Polo's Friend Twato.
All right, not bad. I'm going to go back to 202 friends for some more. Beverly Hills Flop. 3 women and a dead baby.
We already got that. All right, I actually have a project for a children's book that's another one of the juggling things that
Hey, kids, isn't this cock your size? The Polo story.
And of course,
here's Joe in Philly. You're on Run Fez.
Hey, buddies.
Yeah.
How about To Kill a Wacky Broad?
Oh, I love it, Paul.
Children's books? How about Dr. Sumi?
Oh,
you dirty bitch, you.
She's on!
Fezzy, I think you're meeting your match today. It was Dr.
You are
Ed,
so
Patty?
mean.
Woo. Here's we already had the not so great expectations. Your Life's a Funeral. Millie Hatcher came up with 1,000,000 Little Fetuses.
Oh, actually, I have a friend who's making him that. Theo is his name. They're boarded.
Hey, Pat, what do you got?
Yeah, I got a title.
Yeah.
It's called Get Rich or Kill My Wife Trying.
Paul, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I heard Harry Potter's doing very well on Broadway and how to succeed in business without really trying.
Well, his name isn't Harry Potter.
Gotta go to pot.
Another!
You bitch.
Yes, we got any air conditioner? Patty's making it hot in here.
It's because she's on fire.
I'm going to cremate you.
All right.
Hey.
Here's some more on 202 friends. Lock, Stock, and 2 Forced Abortions. Old Man in the Sea.
Ah, that was a book, though.
Here's one, Unhappy Endings. Oh, kind of ties in with Jimmy's book.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is that I'm writing a serious book, and I always have.
Oh, here's one that I like, Galo Panic Womb. Oh.
And frankly, there's many stories and there's many things that people, because frankly, Ron, you barely knew Gail for a few years, and I mean, you knew me. I've been on the show for a long time, and then Gail.
Well, we used to call her Bigfoot. Remember, Fez?
Oh yeah,
because we couldn't get a clear sighting of her. And yes, I know that that's a hack thing to pull off, but still, we would only hear her growling in the background. Get off the phone.
We assumed she was huge.
Right, and then when you see her, you see this like little bone thin,
Here's one that's she
now.
was very big for a while, Paul.
Yeah, she was.
And then you had her tubes tied or whatever.
No, she went on a.
We could have gone with Fatless Shrugged.
Drug and exercise.
Fatless Shrugged. You know Patty.
Yes.
You know Patty right now. I mean, but he's trying, Patty. But you guys are the wordplay twins. Jetson, what do you got for Polo's book?
Tuesdays with Boring.
Tuesdays with Boring.
Now, you see, but that's a good example of a good book about a guy who's facing...
Here's Tony, you're on Run of Fez.
Yeah, how about No Country for Old Men with Failed Movies?
Brian in PA.
Sure, Brian?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Raging Fool.
Not bad. Now, Dave in Cleveland, you've got an idea for one of Polo's children's books.
Yeah, one wife, two wife, dead wife, new wife.
Oh, Paul. Loving that one, Patty?
Yeah.
You're dapping tears out of your eyes today. You're laughing so hard.
Because I'm laughing so hard.
Here's one for Polo. Send it to 202 friends. Old Pussy for Broke Men.
Now,
Millie sent back another one. A Tale of Two Shitty Marriages.
Now, again, to a certain extent, I've backed away from the show a little bit because of unfortunately...
Of GVAC. I mean, not GVAC, G-Baby.
Yeah, but no, it's not G-Baby. It was really always...
Here's Dan in Texas. You got an idea for Polo's book?
The Incredible Sulk.
Mark, what do you got?
A Time to Kill Gail.
Yeah. By the way, I look over Llama's on Fire. Now he's written Hackula. Here's one, Dead Wives Society. These are all good.
Yes.
Eat,
but,
pray, the cops don't know, find out what I did.
Is that clearly I have always played a character on the show, which was, I felt there was a need for, which is, the stooge, the crazy person. And, and
Paul,
I tried
thanks for pulling the fucking curtain back and letting us meet the real you.
Exactly.
It's like Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen saying to his agent, hey, do you think they're buying this act? They all think I'm crazy, right?
Well, unfortunately...
Here's one. Keith from Philly has Snore in Peace. Ridgeville Dan comes up with So I Married a Hack Murderer.
Okay.
I like this one, The Unbearable Lightness of Gail's Womb.
Okay, here's part of the problem, is that I have... clearly, Ron, be honest, I'm an intelligent person, but I've always played an idiot to a certain extent.
Here's Dino. You're on with Paul O, the world's greatest entertainer. What do you got, Dino?
The Lion, the Witch, and spent the inheritance on her wardrobe.
Oh, shit! Remember, she kept...
Yeah.
Here's Dave in Canada. You're on Run of Fez.
What's up, guys? To Kill a Cock with Turd.
To Kill a Cock with Turd.
It's very interesting. Again, I was trying to say that, yes, there is a curtain to be pulled back. I mean, I always am many different
See if you like this one, Fez, from Jason. It's simply Shit the Book.
Okay, which is a good title.
Mikey Boy came up with The Boy with the Shitty Tattoos.
That's true.
Seems to be big right now. Everybody loves that book. Oh, I wish you'd get back to promoting that thing, Fez. Russell in Alabama, you're on it, Fez.
Yeah, I got a book named for Paulo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crime and No Punishment.
That is good. Kentucky Musket sent in Scent of a Dead Woman. Here's one I like called The Boring Identity.
Ah, very good. Now, the point is that, people have been entertained from me, because I tried to play a character.
Do we have the Gallows song the Paranoid wrote? and did such a fabulous job with Fez. Do you know what that would be under for Zito to find?
It's Gail O, and it's Play This One.
This is for the people that don't know. We knew Paul and his wife used to scream at him for years.
Hold on, I had found a different one called Gail O Part 2.
Yeah, I don't think we ever want to start with Part 2. That's how he writes books. But we knew his wife, Gail, for years. She never liked us, never liked him being on the show. And then she turned out to have a really bad drug problem, right, Paul?
Right.
And she was pretty insane. She came up and did the show with us. We finally got to meet her after years, well over a decade. And then, Paul, you and her went back to Florida right after that, after you filmed Gap. And you killed her while she slept.
Right,
so,
yeah, exactly. Now, the point is that clearly I have spent 30 years trying to figure out how to help her and make her, I don't, I've had my alcohol binges, but I'm not a drinker. I'm not really a drinker. I binge because for effect and it's fun and everything else. I don't know addiction. But I've dealt with a lot of addiction in my life.
What about this title? This got sent in from Josh. The Gatsby. We Don't Need a Babysitter Club is another one.
Okay. Now, again,
The Taming of the Boo.
In other words, I married her and didn't realize how crazy she was, but I learned pretty early on and spent all those years trying to figure out how to make a person that I cared for and loved into something less than a complete lunatic, and it was impossible. I just never.
Right, let's take a listen to this song. For the people who don't know, this is the Gail O story told in song.
A lot of people who listen to this, please don't take drugs.
She's not happy, and she's not normal anymore. So lonely, she's got no one left to lose. She wants to die before Christmas. You hope to die before Christmas?
I hope so.
She's afraid.
I'm afraid that if I die before he will, and I think what's going to happen is he won't care at all.
He won't care at all if you're gone.
I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
She's probably going to commit suicide.
If you die first, I probably will commit suicide.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't kill yourself. Kill someone else. Gail, you're gonna have to kill Paul. You'll have to do it while he's sleeping. Bang, bang, shoot him in the head while he's laying in bed. You can blame the medicine.
The biggest problem is that she doesn't understand exactly how mentally ill she is.
I am not that mentally ill. I have a bipolar disorder.
That's nothing.
It's not.
It's a bipolar on top of a schizophrenia.
No, I'm not schizophrenic, Paul. I'm dual. You've heard of what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's it. The doctor
Dual personality.
Yeah, you don't. I'm not psychotic, Paul.
Paul, was she always crazy?
And again, from the beginning, I had to deal with, one of the first things you learn is that people like that lie. And so I had to deal with lies from the very beginning. And then, it evolved in many different ways over the years. And that's part of the story that's, it's a fictionalized account, so I don't have to really be accountable for facts, but just how my personal feelings.
So what you're saying is now you can really get even with her. All right, let's go over some of these ideas for you. For whom the crazy wife screams.
Mm-hmm. Very good ideas. They're all fabulous ideas because, unfortunately, a lot of people know my life.
So some of this could be really good, right, for you?
Believe me, and this is the problem, is so many people know my life and understand what I've been through, or not understand it, but that have been exposed to it.
So you really do think this could be giant?
Yeah, I think that the fact is that people have been exposed to it, but they don't understand it.
Here's Andrew. Andrew, you're on Fez.
Hey, Ronnie B., how about this? Less than zero talent.
Oh.
Again, you're a mean bitch.
Yeah. Patty, do you have any good ideas for Paulo's book? What it could be called?
The Bipolar Express.
Oh! That was funny. Shit! It wasn't so mean. It was funny.
Patty is on fire today. She is busting you up. Here's one, Gulliver's Travels. I really don't want to know what you did last summer.
Okay, fine. Again.
Here's one I like, Boronomics.
Again. You know,
I like this, The Incredible Mr. Limp Dick. Come on, Paul. Here's Greg. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, how about driving Miss Gailey to death?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, is to a certain extent, I play this character, and I've
Stop saying that you're a fucking character, Paulo.
I am, well, then I'm a multiple personality. Is that
your
better?
character would have been the worst written character in history.
It was a multiple personality. And the fact is that I suppressed some personalities and brought others to the forefront because...
I like one of this one. Oh, wife, where art thou? Beer buzzard brill. So many people want to help you, Paul.
And that's what...
Here's Jay in Jersey.
Yo, what's up, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Hey, Paul. Paul, how about burn before reading?
All right, I'm starting to have it now. That's too much. Paul, you're trying to write a nice book for yourself.
He hurts me.
Yeah.
Deeply. Now, the thing is that to a certain extent, I'm seen as someone who has a thick skin. But you know what? I mean, I do feel like my time is running out. I would like to make sense of it all. I would like to figure out what the hell went wrong along, at every step.
And the fact that you don't work anymore...
that's not even true, but I just try and not bring everything about my life out into people's... I'm writing a book about my past. I just assume people don't know about my past.
Even cowgirls get the booze.
Oh, shit, Paul! Oh, shit!
Okay. Now, the thing is that that's the irony.
Here's one from Jerry, Forrest Drunk.
Oh, very good.
Catcher who lives at the Y?
Okay.
One from Gaz that simply says true shit.
Very good. This is the irony of my life. In other words, when I was going through all the problems with Gail and everything else, I had my life together. Mm-hmm. I truly did. And I was dealing with insanity outside of myself. Now my life is in shambles, and I'm with someone who's very stabilized, normal, and holding me together. And that's the irony. And the sad truth is that I would prefer to have had everything go right at one time.
Right. That would have been perfect for you if it did, right?
That's our goal in life, is that everything goes well, and my life nothing would make me happier than to have a boring, calm, relaxed life.
So you're going to write the book, and we need a really good title for it. Patty, you think you got one?
Oh, wow. Who moved my dead wife?
Oh my God, Paul!
Jesus.
Yeah, how about another one?
Now.
Truth with consequences.
Oh shit, son!
Patty, I've never known you to be so cruel.
Patty, you have come up with so many of these now.
I don't know if I...
What's that, Patty?
A clockwork...
What? What was it?
A clock...
Yes?
A clockwork dickhead.
Oh, shit! A clockwork dickhead.
She can't even say it. She just knows in her heart it was just wrong.
Here's a couple more. American Psycho, The Art of the Bore. White Man Can't Jump, Right, Direct, or Act. Well, that's actually kind of cruel.
Just beyond cruel.
Some of these are mean.
And here's the point, is that I've always been seen as someone who's had a thick skin, and I've always given everything to the show and you know, done the thankless job. And it kind of came to a head with the Louis C.K. thing, because I went in there knowing right away that I was, here I got to do the same thing again and play the idiot. And everybody thought it was the funniest thing ever, but they think that I'm really a fucking idiot.
I know. Patty, you thought that. And I'm glad that you're finally writing about your life. What is it, Patty? What should he do?
Charlie and the Dead Wife Factory.
Oh, God, Paul.
Just producing them.
So, I mean, that was kind of a big watershed. I mean, it's very popular.
But, I mean, you need to have your novels sound like other novels, Paul. Why, what is it, Patty? What are you waving for?
The Confessions of Fat Turner.
Oh, shit!
Oh. And first of all, I have lost a lot of weight, and I'm starting to gain back because I'm kind of fat and happy now. But, that's not a thing to tick on.
No, it isn't.
It's wrong. Fat people have people, too.
That's true.
And, I mean, I'm a nice 6'4", 255 now, which is a comfortable, good weight. I was down to 230, which is a good weight. I'm never going to get down to my fighting weight of 190 again. That's probably.
You used to fight, Paul?
Yeah, sure. I fight people all the time.
You ever think you'll get back to that?
190?
No, fighting people.
I fight people all the time.
Well, I'm glad that you are writing and you're coming up with it, but you do need a good title for your book.
I want people to help me.
Hold on, Patty, you have an idea, a title for Polo's book?
Gone with the Broken Wind.
Oh, that was not so bad. It's nice. It's nice just to play on words. I get it. It's not necessarily cool. I don't fart that much. What's that about?
It doesn't really matter, Polo. You're doing what you want to do.
Well, I'm doing what I feel I have to do. Because what is life about? What is it about? Exactly.
You're writing about your wife, your wives, the abortions, everything. What is it, Patty?
The Baby Killers Club.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
That's bad.
For your young teen audience.
It's about, an unexamined life.
Here's Brandon in Wisconsin. What do you got, Brandon?
I got fuck, pray, abort.
It seems like people want to... Oh, Patty got a big laugh out of that.
All right, and early on in my life, I realized that this was going to be a very hard road, and it turned out to be a very hard road, and it took many turns, and it was many hills and valleys,
and yet you've learned.
I have learned. I have learned a lot, and I've learned more in the last year or two than probably all before that.
And you could teach us teach us so much about it.
A lot to offer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do live lives where, and let's face it, a person like me who's gone through all of these hard times has to face more realities about life and learn more than those who've had it easy their whole life, like that fucking Paul Giamatti, whose father was the commissioner of baseball.
And now all of a sudden he's supposed to be the regular guy.
He's always had an easy life. And all of these people in Hollywood, their parents are all rich and famous before, and they all had an easy life. What do they know? Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen. What the hell? No wonder he's so screwed up.
Right.
The fact is they don't understand themselves, and they're going to die not knowing one thing about life because they've had everything handed to them. I never had a freaking thing.
And that's why this book is going to be so great. Patty, what name do you have for it?
Men are from Mars. Women are buried under the porch.
Oh, shit. Paul!
Yeah, first of all, I just was watching a movie about burying somebody. Oh, Get Low. He was saying, I understand why you want to bury him under the house. Yeah. Anyway, that's nice, but again, I take this book seriously, and I was hoping that I'd get some serious help. So I will send you a chapter or two, and see if you think that I'm a good writer.
I just want to read about, you and some of the women that you've been with. Patty, you got a title for them?
On the Toad.
Oh, shit! Makes her look bad. Suckleberry Finn. I like this one because you lost that one girl to the other guy. One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
And of course, that was a weird situation, that whole situation, and it brought its own kind of hell and trauma and everything else. It's true. It's true. And right now, everything is switched. Everything's reversed. So my life is just ridiculous roller coaster twists and twirls that make no sense to me, and I'm trying to make sense of them. And that's why the final twist and twirls is that my life is crumbling, except I'm with finally a good person.
All right, Paul, we got to take a break here. Send me some chapters. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's fucking great. Mm-hmm. It sounds terrific. Patty, you'll buy a copy, right?
Sure.
All right. See you later, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
Your life was a movie. Patty, you're on fucking fire today. I don't even understand.